This is Nathan Dye here with Tony Melcher. We did our project on the New Testament and we chose to do it on the miracles of Jesus Christ. So we chose 16 miracles that he performed while he was on the earth for his ministry, and we created a map of these 16 miracles. And so for our web page, we have some HTML, um, and this is our source code right here. We have the head tag, and this is where we are gonna put most of our code. We're gonna define all of our functions inside here, and then they will be called from the body of the page. So right here we just have a title for our web page, Miracles of Christ, and then the first thing we are going to define all of our different variables. And right here we have a variable for each of our 16 layers for the miracles. First, we are going to define the function init, and this function is going to be called upon loading the web page. And here's where we set up our open layers map. We're going to add the map and add controls for the map. So after we created our map, we are going to add different layers to that map, and we begin by adding a Bing roads map as the base layer, and that will always be shown on the map. And then we have a separate layer for each of the 16 miracles that we have Christ performing. And each of those layers is defined by a separate KML file. So here we have the first one. It is accessing the atoned KML file, and we are putting it into a variable called atoned, which will be used later. So we go down here and add each of the different miracles and define a variable for each of them. Once they are all defined, we come down here and we add each of the defined variables to the map as layers. So the atoned layer, we have it being added to the map right here. And then we define the projection that each of the layers are in so that they show up with the right coordinates, and we set a zoom for the initial load of the map. We want it to center around the layers that we have added to the map. So here's where we set that, and then we set the center as the variables that we have defined. And then next we are going to add events for each of the layers that we have added. Here we are going to turn on events for each of the layers. And so for the atone layer, we turn the events on, and when feature is selected, we are going to run the onFeatureSelect function. And then for feature unselected, we will run the function onFeatureUnselect. So for each of the different layers, we turn on these events and define the functions that will be called when the event happens. So down later we have the function onFeatureSelect, and what it does is it tells which feature was selected, and then it brings up a pop-up window and gets the content for the pop-up window in the KML file. Then on feature unselect, here's the function that is ran. The pop-up is removed and destroyed. So later we have a drop-down menu that has the option to select one of the 16 miracles or to select none of them. And when one of them is selected, it passes a value into a variable which is ran into the setMiracle function. And what this does is it loops through each layer, and if it is the one that has been selected, then it will turn the visibility on, and for all the rest it turns the visibility off. So that is the basis of our HTML web page and the source code behind it.
All right. I'm going to run you through, as Nathan mentioned, I'm going to run through one of our KML files. So now, first of all, to start off, we kind of had to do some surgery with our KMLs just because we created them all in ArcMap, but we created them as one singular point file, one line file, and one polygon file. But in order to separate them into different layers, we actually ended up having to create 16 different KML files. So this is one of our pieced together KML files. So it starts off declaring it as a KML file, labels that as a point ID, calls it point. So now within these placemark tags, that's when we kind of get down to the nitty-gritty. That's when we get the description and bring up the KML. So first of all, the name of the placemark is Jesus the blind man. So that's the name of the miracle. After the description tag, we enter in our HTML, and this is just kind of standard HTML. That's an HTML table. So this is like each TR tag is adding a new row. The TD tag is adding data in that row, and then a P tag is a new paragraph. So as this is blank between the paragraph tags, that means we're just skipping a line, and then another row. Now this row has the word scriptural reference, and we give a reference to where the miracle is actually found. See here that there's a link to the LDS.org website, uh, specifically for Mark chapter 8, verses 22 through 26. And you'll see that when we actually work through the website, you'll see how that works. Skip row. Then the row after that, we actually have the text, Jesus heals a blind man. And then we have a picture, an image that we have we just got off the internet. Um, and these are all things that are, I should have mentioned this, but these are all things that are going to show up in our pop-up bubble. Next, we actually define the coordinates of the point, um, and that and then that wraps up our placemark tag. Now within the style tag, we actually define the attributes of the point itself. So first off, the point when it shows up on our website is actually going to show up as this little jesus.jpg. So it's a little image that we have set up. And now the scale is just the sizing of that JPEG. Now label style, I'm not really sure what the label style is, and it's not really that significant since we don't have any color, we don't have any scale, so it's not showing up whatever it is. Now the poly style is once again that's gonna show that's kind of defining how the point is gonna show up, and then we've got the hexadecimal coloring, and FF just means that it's that there's no transparency or anything like that, but we don't add any colors obviously because we're gonna refer back to our JPEG. And yeah, that's about it for our KML file. Now let's go to our website. So the URL for our website is nattongis, nathantonygis.info. So here's our website. So we got our title, a map of miracles Christ performed in the New Testament, and we've got all of our points right here. Our points, but also we've got a polygon. And we've got a couple of sets of line data. You probably can't see that well, but they're there nonetheless. So we have the line data, and then we also have point data. Now I'll give you an example of what our pop-ups look like. Um, so this specific miracle was when Christ transfigured. Gives a scriptural reference, which I'm gonna click on that and show you how that looks. So that's lds.org. It shows the scripture reference and the scriptures there. There's a little description of what the miracle, and also these little images that line we have referenced here. Click the X, they disappear. So we have a couple of different tools in addition to the map itself. We have this legend here that this was added as a part of the open layers map. You can click on and select specific layers, and they can show up, disappear, however you like. But we've also added a control. Oh, this is gonna. There we go. All right. So we added this little drop-down box here in addition, and Nathan talked about how we added it to our code already. So I'm just gonna show you how it works. So that same miracle, Christ transfigured. We click on it, it shows up. Then you click on it, there's the bubble. And when you want to zoom back out, you click select a miracle, and it zooms back for you. Well, that is our website. Hope you enjoyed. Pretty basic, but